Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, we're coming off of a holiday week, but there's still some news stories to talk about and a few to catch up on. So on the docket for today, we have Citi adding a new transfer partner. We'll talk about Discover and their categories for the next quarter. And we have American Express clawing back some lounge access that we thought they were being a little too generous with to begin with. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, we will lead off playing with two catch-up stories. The first one is from Citi. So Citi, we believe they're making a farther push into the travel space. They've revamped the travel portal. We believe the Strata cards that have trademarks filed will come out eventually, and they will probably be travel-focused. Well, they now have a new travel partner that they are adding to the mix, and it is interesting ad if nothing else, so the math doesn't quite work out the way you'd hope. So if you take a look at it here, they're adding a hotel partner called ACCOR. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about them. I mean, their stuff looks cool at least. But they're adding ACCOR/Live Limitless is what it's kind of called, or ALL for short. So a new hotel transfer partner for Citi. Now, the interesting thing is your thank you points move over at a 2-to-1 rate. So you'll still need, of course, a Citi card that allows transfers like the Premier or the Prestige, or eventually maybe the Strata cards. Now, the transfers can be made in increments of 1,000 points, and if you're wondering about value, 1 mile at a time is valuing ACCOR points at about 2.2 cents per point. So with the 2-to-1 transfer ratio, it makes your thank you points used this way valued at about 1.1 cent a point, which isn't awesome. I mean, it's still, above the 1 cent per point threshold by a little bit. And granted, a lot of people do this with, Delta and get like 1.2 cents a point. So, I mean, if you like the hotel chain, then I guess it's not terrible. You generally, of course, like to see a 1-to-1. So it's good to see them add another property or another partner, but a little light on the math there, unfortunately. Now, of course, if you have stayed there, you do frequent these, definitely let us know down below what your experience is like, any tips you have for folks. I'm not familiar with this property line, for being honest, so that will go a long way to help folks. And of course, you are a Citi travel person, then give us your thoughts on that as well if you have some kind of travel strategies or hacks for this. So with that, we're now taking a look at U.S. Bank, who's releasing a new credit card of sorts. Now, U.S. Bank had acquired Union Bank, was a bank out west quite some time ago, maybe a year or so, give or take. And so they've been merging, the systems together, transferring over, Union Bank accounts to U.S. Bank accounts and all the other products. Well, apparently, there was one card, a business card, that they didn't quite have a 1-to-1 comparison for, so U.S. Bank basically made this card. That's why I'm not going to give it too hard of a time, but you're talking about the technically new U.S. Bank Business Altitude Power Card. So overall, it's got an annual fee of $195. Your multipliers are going to be 2.5x mobile wallet purchases, capped at $5,000 in spend per quarter, 2x back on everything, and then 6x back on prepaid hotels and car rentals going through the Citi or the U.S. Bank travel portal. Now, again, overall, I mean, I'm not going to knock it too much if they designed this card specifically to solve an internal problem. If you want it, you do have to apply in branch. It's obviously not very good, not totally worth it, so I wouldn't bother too much there. But again, the interesting part is I went back and looked at our Union Bank video, and I don't see a business card that they had for like a 1-to-1 comparison for this. So I'm not quite sure what they were trying to make up for. So again, if you're welcome bonus hunting, then so be it. If you're in the area, you do have to stop and branch to get it. You think you get about 50,000 points. But again, this card's not very good, but I'm not bashing it. If it solves them an internal problem, then so be it. But there is technically a new card out there if you're so interested. Now with that, we're turning to Discover. So Discover, they have the fancy rotating quarterly category card, very akin to everyone's favorite Chase Freedom and Freedom Flex, where their new categories are out going into Q3, because again, Discover changed it. Now they do quarterly releases as opposed to giving you the calendar up front. They do tell you a month in advance, which is nice. So this go around, you're going to have gas stations and mobile wallets as your 5X category. categories. Now, overall, not too bad, honestly. I think gas stations pretty easy to the point. Mobile wallets, I think, is a bit of a sleeper because a lot of places are now starting to take mobile wallets, more and more. It's very prevalent these days with the tap to pay. I don't necessarily know, you can use Apple Pay through your computer as well. I don't know if that counts as well. I feel like it should. I don't know for sure. But either way, I think these are good categories. Remember, you do have to activate them on all the cards that you have for Discover. Now, in addition to that, we will know the Chase categories in 2 weeks' time. Chase does it on the 14th of the month. They release them. Discover's doing it on the 1st. So I would expect a little bit of overlap, probably gas. We'd probably see Chase do gas stations, which I know overlap bothers a lot of people. But I mean, realistically, the mobile wallet thing does help, and there's enough flexibility in that to make this category really wide open. So I don't necessarily think we need to do a ton of strategy here. Obviously, gas stations sell gift cards. Over here where I'm at, Speedway is a good gas station for gift cards, and then you can get like the Speedy Rewards app that they'll just badge you to sign up for anyways and get some Speedy points, and then you can eventually redeem it for gas or more gift cards, which is what I end up doing. So definitely look for a stacking play if one is out there for you. But overall, not too bad. Again, we'll know in 2 weeks how bad it really is with the overlap. So with that, we have one more story from the land of American Express. Now, if you remember, the good old Platinum card, everyone's favorite lounge card, actually changed their guest status or guest pass rules so that you had to spend $75,000 a year on the Platinum card to retain your free guest access. And with that, it didn't make a ton of sense, obviously, to spend 75 grand on that card, but they were generous enough to gift guest status, guest passes to a few folks out there. We don't know what was behind the reasoning, but there were some folks who reported not spending 75 grand and still getting an email saying, hey, you still have guest passes. Well, it looks like that may have been made in error, so we have this apology email from American Express to take a look at. And you can see here, I won't go through the whole thing, but due to an internal error, we incorrectly notified you via email on April 23rd that you unlock complimentary guest access to the Centurion Lounge for up to 2 guests per visit through January 31st, basically through next year, through this year, while you continue to have access for yourself, you will basically still need to spend $75,000 to meet that requirement, which is, again, the new requirement. However, to make it up to you, we are still going to extend you your guest access through April 23rd through June 7th, so that is coming up just a few more days, basically. So overall, again, we don't have many details on this. I don't know if everyone was getting this. I would imagine there are certain customers in American Express's portfolio that maybe haven't spent $75,000 on this card, but they're looking at their full lifetime value as a customer between maybe the bank accounts they've opened, the other Amex products they've used, and more focused, targeted offering this to them as a perk, and maybe they didn't mean to send it to as nearly as many people. Now, overall, I mean, anytime companies mess up, people mess up, I get it, but sometimes I wonder, do you first pull the data set of people who you didn't mean to send it to, look through and see how many people are even using these guest passes that I messed up on, and is it even worth it to go through the clawback, technically, of all that and just let it be? I don't know. I think it's worth considering, before you do something like that. So, look, I'm not going to crush them for it. Mistakes do happen. I do think the overall problem is making it, you have to spend 75 grand to get guest passes. It's just, I don't want to make this into a Platinum card rant, but if you want me to spend $75,000 on your card, then give me a reason to do it, and that isn't a reason. Give me a multiplier, bump it up to, 2x, 1.5, something like that. A reason for me to use the card other than just 1.1 on everything else. And then, of course, you have the airlines and the hotels, but you have to go through the travel portal to get the 5x on hotels. And anyways, let us know down below if you've got this email, if it affects you, if it annoys you. Love to get your thoughts. I'm going to cut it off there so we don't go into a Platinum card rant. So a little bit shorter of a week, but we are all caught up on the news. So, of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel because, of course, we're posting content just like this every single week and right here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day, even on holidays, you bankers who take it off, over on ProfitableContent.com, where we have the latest news stories, bank bonuses, and credit card offers. That is always linked down below for you and on the channel homepage as well. So love to see you over there as well. Anyways, guys, let me know what else you've seen going on in the news this past week, your thoughts on these stories, all the rest of it down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.